I want to understand from the two of you, because as a lay person, you pointed out that AI has been around since the 70s and so on and so forth. But from a common man's perspective, the real breakout moment happened when ChatGPT exploded, and it came out of nowhere. I mean, nobody expected the kind of reaction and response that we saw for ChatGPT, and it's just built on that. I mean, forget the valuations. We're actually seeing real adoption. India is the largest market now for that. Are we likely to be anywhere close to having a ChatGPT-like moment as far as quantum tech is concerned?
So I will just add to what he said. Now today, for example, India has got capability to establish safe networks over optical fibers. We can secure drones. We can secure satellite networks. We can secure Wi-Fi networks. So you take in any media, and their technology is ready where we can secure, and we call it quantum QShield dome. So in our vision, what we are trying to do, we are building a quantum dome for India so that we are protected from any AI or quantum attack in the future.
A quantum dome for India, and are we there, or
yeah, we are already.
We're already there.
70% of the pieces already exist. They are right now. We're deploying them in pieces, but eventually, idea is that put them all together, and we do. Today, we protect like armed forces networks, optical fiber networks. We are now trying to implement our technology in drones. We have already demonstrated that to armed forces.
That's interesting, and that's also good to know, because I think in the era that we live in, that kind of protection is absolutely necessary. But as I was asking the two of you, when do we see that kind of breakout moment when when there is a large-scale conviction on what you're attempting? I mean, you're a believer. You've seen the results for yourself. But for the world to become a believer in what you're doing, what will it take for that to happen?
See, the world is still looking for a killer application, and everybody is in search. And I always say to my team as well that we are on the dartboard, but haven't hit the bullseye yet. And everybody is waiting for that moment. It is a quest. We have to keep doing it.
Worldwide, you will not know first ChatGPT moment of quantum because it will be kept secret.
Yeah.
Okay. So you will only know when some popular application becomes known to us. Like for example, somebody solved a fertilizer problem. You know that. But somebody actually decoding some of the secrets of the nature, you will not know.
So what are the 5 things that people must know about quantum technology, why it's important for the future, where India finds itself, and what companies like yours will do to disrupt this space? I want to start with you, Sunil.
I think everybody has to, this is a different tech. So everybody has to understand and spend some time understanding and learning about it. People probably have to understand that how this is the application of this tech for them. The future world is going to be quantum and AI. Everybody has to figure out that what is in for them in terms of either to learn or what type of application and technology they would use.
Nagendra?
So difference between many countries when compared to India when IT started was India was able to latch on to IT. They were a good programmers, software programmers, and they were able to program. If you look at the mirror image of that, look into Japan. It was a giant. It was one of the largest tech countries in the world. So what happens, they missed out on open source. So similarly, this is a moment where it will separate out the countries which latched on to adapt it to it and then mutate and to become something else and something like quantum literate, and they can catch on the technology and do many applications. We do require more engineers who are into deep tech now. IT era is over, okay, but then...
IT era is over.
Yeah. Over in the sense, not a peak of them. So it will continue to have its own thing, but the growth is decelerated for first time. If that era is slowing down, India requires a better growth, the vehicle for this, right? We have huge population. We are most populous country in the world. And strategically for us, the deep tech is where the next generation really has to focus.
You have to build products. India has to move from services. Services will continue. AI will also be there. But what India needs future is to build a product nation, as Dr. Rajesh always says.
But in this shift from services to becoming a product nation, what is the shift that we need in terms of mindset? There is, of course, a shift that we need in terms of capital deployment as well. There's a shift that we need in terms of R&D. What will it take? What are those ingredients that will ensure that we make that transition?
So I think the most important part is that when you're in services, and I spent some time in the service industry, you try to solve somebody else's problem. When you say product mindset is all about looking at the problems, identifying the problems. And then, for example, we saw an opportunity, we saw a problem, a future problem for India. We said, this must be solved. So when you look at a problem, then you try to find solutions. And then when you try to find solutions, you definitely have to build a sustainable solution. And that is where the product, platform, and everything come.
What will it take to become a product nation?
For the country like us, where we have largest population, I think the services will be one of the sectors. We can't eliminate that, but it's a very important sector, services. And then the product will be the sector that creates the wealth of the nation. So these two should continue to coexist. To do a product, we need to take the ownership. That means it's your product, and basically you have to have a roadmap. You have to have a continuity, business continuity for your customers. When you have a product, also in services, the customer depends on you heavily. But in services, what happens is the replaceability is easy. At least in short to medium term. The product replaceability, when you go to you just put something on the enterprise usage, it's not easy to replace. Nobody can replace easily your Amazon cloud or Azure data center.
When we do products, services, the risk is customers, right? Here you have to take risk.
Yeah.
Right? So risk-taking ability, right, is very, very important. And your ability to handle the failures. How do we celebrate failures? Because product you fail. And a lot of time when we hire people, sometimes we ask them this question, right? Can you handle failure? Because we expect you to fail at times, right? Because it's a very long, tedious
and brutal journey, as he mentioned.
And we do a lot of deep R&D, right? We will do a lot of things which will not work. Right? Which is okay. We do experiments, we have hypotheses, we say the hypothesis not worked. We learn from that and move forward. So ability to take failure in your stride and ability to work for long hours, very hard work, and take risk is very,
so
very
70
critical.
hours, 90 hours is a given, right?
Don't give us count that, please.
No,
You don't
there's no hours. There's no concept
Just
of
need to
hours.
enjoy that. Okay, don't count
As
it.
an enterprise, 24/7. You are always there, right? Always in the zone, right? It's not about hours, right? It is always being that when your heart and mind is in it, then boundary of hour doesn't make sense.
I agree. I agree with you. So finally, let me ask both of you, because that's very interesting that you said you have to have the risk-taking ability, but you also have to have the resilience to rebound from a setback,
Absolutely.
to rebound from a
Absolutely.
failure.
Very fair.
What has been the mantra for you to build that muscle?
If you have the clarity of the vision that what you're looking at, you will have failures, but you're glued to your goal and vision. They'll say, okay, I'll rise up and go forward, because you're looking, you have the clarity of your vision, right? And that is what gives you the courage. If you can get confused and you don't know what you are doing and you fail, you don't know what to do, and the people quit.
One of the most important aspect apart from vision is the leadership. See what happens when you build something like this. See, I don't know what clarity means. When you have a vision, only you know the vision. You have a picture of that. How do you reach there will not be clear all the time. But you know where you want to reach. You know the imagination. So with that imagination, you need to lead set of people. So that leadership is very important in a product company. Okay, where you can lead your investors, your employees, your customers, and make sure that they all buy into your vision. Everybody is focused on reaching that vision. So honesty is another thing. You have to be very honest with your employees, very honest with your customers, very honest with your investors. Okay, so once they start trusting you and you start delivering, you will slowly start moving towards that vision. So to take everybody in your journey is very important. That's the most important thing in a product or deep tech companies.
Is to have the clarity of purpose, the clarity of vision, the resilience to actually be able to execute on that vision, and to take everybody along, and to have a lot of passion, patience, and perseverance as well.
Yes.
Well, we wish you both the very best of luck. You told me at the start of the program that your vision was that whether good or bad, you want it to be a story. You are a story today.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you will be a very successful story,
you.
and I hope you will be a very successful
story.
as well. Thank you so much for joining us here on
Thanks,
the Young
Shireen.
Turks
Thank you so much.
podcast.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Shireen.
your
Thank you
time.
for having us.
Well, I hope this conversation gave you a glimpse into the world of quantum technology, where India finds itself, but more importantly, how do we transition from being a services nation to being a product nation? The two founders that you heard from today are certainly hoping to leverage on their capabilities, the capital that they've managed to get, as well as their differentiation to make a difference in the world. From all of us here on the Young Turks team, we hope that you enjoyed watching this program. If you have feedback, comments and suggestions, do write to us. We always like to hear from you. We'll see you again next week with more exciting stories. Till then, goodbye. Thanks for watching.